In the bustling riverside city of Aderemi, where red dust clung stubbornly to worn sandals and the scent of pepper soup floated through the evening air, lived a young woman named Amara Okorie. She was 26 years old, quiet, observant, the kind of woman whose eyes noticed what others ignored. By day, Amara worked as a live-in maid in the lavish home of the Balogun family, one of the wealthiest merchant families in the city. Before sunrise each morning, she tied her faded wrapper, covered her hair with a plain scarf, and began her routine, sweeping marble floors that never stayed clean, washing fine china she would never eat from, cooking jollof rice whose aroma teased her hunger but never satisfied it. To the Baloguns, Amara barely existed. She was spoken about, but rarely spoken to, invisible. And over time, invisibility became her armor. At night, when the house finally slept, Amara sat by the narrow window of her tiny room. By the dim glow of a lantern, she opened worn notebooks filled with numbers, contracts, and business laws. She studied quietly. She planned carefully. She wrote dreams no one else was allowed to see. Her goal was simple, but dangerous: to reclaim a legacy that had been stolen. Aderemi was a city where status mattered more than truth, where elders often said, "The chick that stays near the hen believes it is also a hen." Amara lived among wealth, but she was never allowed to belong to it. Madame Balogun reminded her of that often. "Amara," she would snap, "your hands are too slow. Did you come here to work or to dream?" Her son Kunle laughed openly. "Leave her, Mama. What big dream can a maid have? Her future is in that apron." The other house staff whispered behind her back, mocked her silence, laughed at her books. Still, Amara endured, because she knew something they didn't, and soon they would all find out. The humiliation came on a quiet Sunday afternoon. The Baloguns were hosting important guests, business partners, chiefs, and city officials. Laughter filled the living room as Amara moved silently between them, serving drinks. Then Kunle snapped his fingers. "You, Maid, come here!" The room fell silent. Kunle held up an envelope. "My business proposal is missing, and you were the last person in my room." Madame Balogun's eyes narrowed. "Are you accusing her?" Kunle smiled coldly. "I'm not accusing, I'm stating facts." Amara's heart pounded. Her voice trembled. "I did not take anything, sir." Kunle scoffed. "Of course you'd say that." One guest muttered under his breath, "These house girls, hunger makes them bold." Madame Balogun stood abruptly. "Search her room." They tore through Amara's few belongings, her clothes, her notebooks, her books. When they found her financial notes, Kunle burst into laughter. "Look at this. She thinks she's a businesswoman." The guests laughed along. Amara swallowed hard. "Those are mine. I study at night." "Study?" Kunle sneered. "You should study how to scrub floors better." Later, the missing envelope was found in Kunle's car. Still, no apology came. Instead, Madame Balogun said coldly, "You embarrass this house. Pack your things, leave before sunset." Amara walked out with her small bag as neighbors watched in silence. That night, she slept under a mango tree by the river. She cried, not because she had nowhere to go, but because the past had finally caught up with her. At dawn, an old woman approached her, Mama Sade, a retired trader known for her wisdom. She studied Amara closely and said, "You carry pain the way royalty carries crowns. Who are you really, child?" Amara whispered, "I am the daughter of a man they ruined." Mama Sade nodded slowly. "Then it is time you stop hiding." That morning, Amara made a decision. She would no longer merely survive. She would build. With Mama Sade's guidance, Amara accessed documents her late father had left behind: shares, land titles, and proof of a silent partnership in a trading company stolen through deception years earlier. For 2 long years, Amara worked relentlessly. She studied finance formally, learned negotiation, traveled quietly, built alliances carefully. She dressed modestly, but when she spoke, her words were sharp and deliberate. She failed more than once. Deals collapsed, a partner betrayed her, money ran thin. But she remembered her father's words: "A river that forgets its source will dry up." Slowly, her company grew. By the 3rd year, Okorie Holdings became a name whispered with respect in Adereme, and fate prepared the final stage. The Baloguns announced a grand investment gala, desperate for capital to save their failing business. Amara received the invitation. She smiled. The gala sparkled with wealth and arrogance. Then the doors opened. Amara entered, not dressed in excess, but in elegant simplicity. Hand-woven aso oke draped around her shoulders, her head held high. Kunle frowned. "Who let the former maid in here?" Before security could move, the host spoke into the microphone. "Our final investor for tonight, Miss Amara Okorie, CEO of Okorie Holdings." Silence swallowed the room. Madame Balogun's face drained of color. Kunle stammered, That's impossible." Amara stepped forward calmly. "Good evening," she said. "You once asked what dream a maid could have." She revealed documents, dates, signatures. "The business you destroyed belonged to my father. I cleaned your floors while rebuilding what you stole." Madame Balogun whispered, "Why didn't you say anything?" Amara replied softly, "Because people who don't respect rappers won't respect words." She had the power to destroy them, but instead she offered a deal, fair, firm, and public. "Justice," she said, "does not always need revenge." Kunle lowered his head. The Balogun Empire survived, but it changed. Kunle stepped aside. Madame Balogun apologized publicly. Amara became known not for vengeance, but for quiet strength. She funded education for domestic workers, built a training center by the river where she once slept. And sometimes she still wore plain clothes. When asked why, she smiled. A crown does not announce itself. And the city of Adereme learned a lesson it would never forget. Never mock a silent person. You do not know what kingdom they are building.